Man, I don't know what it is about this year, but so many hidden gems have been coming out in the gaming scene practically out of nowhere. And while a lot of them haven't been perfect, I feel as though they deserve way more recognition than they've been getting. Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom, Penny's Big Breakaway, and now Cryptmaster might also just be one of those games.
Hello, can you hear me?
Cryptmaster is a dungeon-crawling, text-based adventure game that looked like a fantasy-style Typing of the Dead when I first saw a streamer I followed play it, and honestly, watching him play it, I was instantly sold. Cryptmaster has a very simple premise. You play the roles of a long-forgotten group of heroes buried in a crypt deep beneath the earth, brought back to life by a necromancer who clearly isn't evil or malicious or gonna stab you in the back in any way. All in an effort to journey back to the surface, you'll have to battle classic fantasy monsters, answer some absolutely brain-melting riddles, meet an interesting cast of characters, and actually have a wedding with whatever the fuck this is. And while the simple premise of this game pretty much ends there, where this game really shines is without a doubt its gameplay. Shy of moving, almost every single aspect of this game is handled by typing. But not in a let me type where I want my character to go kind of way, but in a fighting, puzzle solving, flirting kind of way. All with one word responses and answers. See, because the undead group of heroes are undead, they're not the brightest, and story-wise struggle to say anything past letting out a single word. So, single words it is! When fighting monsters, every action you want to perform has to be typed out. When solving puzzles, you have a limited amount of tries before the Cryptmaster actually gets bored with your slow responses. It's such a smart way to handle what should be a very annoying limitation. Like how in combat, you can't spam your actions because each hero has their own cooldown you have to keep track of. No mashing your keyboard here no matter how hard you want to. This leads into a really interesting balancing act where you're always trying to find the most optimal lines to winning. Jab, crabs, guard, soothe, jab again, repeat. It's really easy to get into a rhythm of things, which totally doesn't backfire when you're fighting an enemy that gets buffed from your best words. Nope, not at all. Notice how the Sea Witch, almost all her words start with the letter A. This is bullshit. But I argue that the coolest aspect of this fighting system is not just its addicting and challenging combat, but also how leveling works. And I put leveling in quotations because it's a very loose form of character progression. Unlike a standard RPG or action game, there aren't actual levels. So instead of getting stat buffs, better weapons, or similar stuff when progressing, you get letters, which is actually the key to unlocking new abilities and moves. Yeah, that's right, this is fantasy Sesame Street! Which is funny because I guess your progression is also tied to how well you understand the English dictionary. Choose the right letters and you'll slowly fill up the blank spaces next to each character's portrait. If you're able to figure out the word, you can type it out to unlock a new move or memory, which is kinda sick. And some of these words, man, oh man, I'm fucking dumb. Dude, I constantly had to message my group chat to try to figure out some of these words. It is not because these words were like crazy tough or like there's some top tier Einstein back of the dictionary 12 syllables. I'm just actually legally stupid. But on the brighter side of that, not gonna lie, trying to figure out some of these answers with my friends and one of my friends thinking the word cartwheel was canned eel is a moment that's gonna live in group chat infamy for the rest of the time. In all seriousness though, this style of progression is so cool and unique that I'm almost at a loss for words. It's like, I wish more games could do something like this, but how many games out there are typing based, you know? Like how many games could actually do this? This game's entire combat style is truly one of a kind, and this kind of uniqueness in a game's mechanic could never come from a AAA, or really even be replicated in a AAA. It's things like this that make me really happy that I'm constantly always checking out these cool new indie games. The puzzles are great too, and are handled with almost the same level of creativity. Even though it's not limited to just these two, there are two main forms of puzzles in this game, which are riddles and chess. Riddles are super simple and self-explanatory. A skeletal spirit hits you with some hocus pocus haiku mumbo jumbo, and it's up to your brain juices to decide whether or not you're gonna see the obvious answers staring right back at you. And most of the time, your brain won't. The other puzzle type, chess guesses, are a lot less simple. The Cryptmaster will pick up a chest and it's up to you utilizing his clues to decide what it is. You can have him describe it, feel it, lick it, touch it,
Bop it.
and he'll give you hints based on what you ask him to do. Some of these are tough, man, and after pouring hours into this game, I failed some because you only get one shot, and I could not for the life of me figure these out. And honestly, if we were to ever get a Cryptmaster 2, I think for some of these puzzles, the Cryptmaster's hints aren't really that helpful. I guess this was one of the few shortcomings of this game. Want to guess what's in this chest? Sure. Feel. Ow, it's pointy. Taste. Ouch, it's pointy. Describe. Look sharp. Remember. Man, this always looked like it hurt. Okay, then it must be a sword. No, are you a fucking idiot? That doesn't happen a lot in this game, but has happened enough where it's like, at the very least, I wish they'd tell me the answers afterwards, instead of just leaving me in the dark and having me feel even more stupid than I already am. I would like to know what word wasted an hour of my time. The rest of the game also controls and plays well, especially Whatever, an in-game trading card game that can be played by almost every NPC in the world. This game, oh man, this game. If there's any aspect of this game that is frustrating, it's this. In Whatever, you have to pick 2 letters and hopefully match letters with cards in your hands to deal damage to your opponent. Letters are generated randomly, and you can complete a card's name to activate that card's effect. Simple, right? Well, wait, no, it's actually that simple. While you can make your own deck, like a real-life TCG, you winning a match is entirely dependent on your opening hand. Draw a great hand, and congrats! You're gonna breeze through this encounter. Keep drawing whack hands, and you'll be forced to restart this encounter over and over and over and over again, so you have that good hand. And honestly, I can't really fault the game for this. While it is dumb, as someone who plays Yu-Gi-Oh! And card games like this is actually on par to how a TCG works. And at the end of the day, it is all optional. You're never really forced to play Whatever. So I get it. It's an optional thing, and it can be as difficult as they want it to be because it's not locking out anything for the main story. I only wish that some of these CPUs weren't as busted as it feels like they are. Ulara can totally eat sound design, and this game's overall atmosphere is awesome. And though I wouldn't say it excels at either, it's still really solid. Some models do look better than others in my opinion, but this game has such a unique style it was trying to go for, and it definitely achieved it. The locations are nice and distinguishable, even though the entire game is just black and white. And while not every song is a hit, there are some that I caught myself humming to every now and then. For example, when you're in like that rat cave area, I could not tell you why, but this song was burned into my mind.
Greetings.
I cannot tell you why. I felt one with the rats. I will say though, as easy it is for me to give this game so much praise for being what it is, like most things in life, it isn't perfect. Like I mentioned before, some of these puzzles are just not entirely well thought out. Besides the other time I mentioned, there was another time I had to guess what was in a chest, and based off of the clues, I thought it was a pair of binoculars or even a telescope of some kind. I even double checked with my friends, and we could not think of anything else besides binoculars or telescopes. But after sitting there for almost an hour trying to figure out what it was, I just gave up. And knowing if I failed, I would not get an answer, I looked it up out of curiosity. And you know what the answer was? It was a spyglass! I have existed on this earth for 28 years, Jesus mode, and I never once heard of a spyglass in my life. I'm not even mad at the game for this. Maybe it's my fault for being American, but in instances like this, you know, maybe can we get more than one right answer on the off chance that someone has never heard of that word in their life? Another issue I have with this game is that it feels like certain aspects can be taught better, or at least mentioned. I'm super pro figuring things out for myself, And I don't really need a guiding hand all the time, but figuring out that whatever square was highlighted signaled what character was going to take damage on the enemy's next attack could have helped prevent a lot of my early deaths, because I didn't know about that until I was hours into the game. If I had to really complain about anything else, I'd guess I'd have to say I wish you could map out your keyboard. Don't get me wrong, this game has a lot of cool options, and it even allows you to like change the color scheme of this game, which is kind of awesome. But I'm one of those people that have like that super small keyboard that like is missing like 40% of what a normal keyboard should have. So besides holding down a button, I can't easily press my arrow keys, which is how you move in this game. Alternatively, you can also hold shift and use WASD. But no matter which option I went with, I had to monkey paw my keyboard, giving myself carpal tunnel just trying to play this game. And something as simple as keyboard mapping definitely could have helped with that. It's a very minor complaint, and obviously this could just be added with a patch. But even with these mild complaints I had, Cryptmaster is still a one-of-a-kind game that's well worth its asking price. It's fun and creative, and like I've said before, unlike anything I've ever played. The nights I spent playing this game while streaming it on Discord to my friends will always stick with me. Trying to figure out some of these riddles, commenting on how wacky this world is and how crazy the designs are, trying to figure out optimal combat lines, it helped me realize that maybe the real Cryptmaster was the friends we made along the way. Alright, I'm sorry for that one. If you're someone who likes puzzle games, fast-paced keyboard-based action, or this, then Cryptmaster might be the game for you. And I would heavily suggest checking it out even if none of these sound interesting. Enjoy the rest of your day, and take care.